This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
James, talked to a lot of fans this week. They could not be more jacked for this upcoming baseball season, preseason top 5. Take us through what it's like to be a player on opening day and opening weekend.
Hey, good morning, Ty. Yeah, it's as exciting as a player, I'd say, as a fan. You know, especially starting to warm up, you're starting to feel it in the air a little bit, and everything is kind of building until we finally get to opening day. But most of the players are just ready to get there. I think they're ready to get started. New guys are ready to get a taste of what it's like playing the SEC, and the returners are ready to just, have a good start to a new season.
I'm looking at the weather right now. It's 55 degrees is the high. Got a little percentage of precipitation. You remember, were there some just frigid cold days on opening day? Because I know Fayetteville's not always the warmest this time of year.
So my freshman year, I remember the weather was amazing, and we had a ton of people there. It was wild. It gets similar in 15, my sophomore year, but then junior it was horribly cold. We were shoveling snow the week before, trying to get the field ready to play. We didn't practice for like 3 days. We just shoveled snow because we wanted to, get the games on so bad. Especially the bullpen guy or the pitchers, when it's cold, it's terrible. I know the hitters will probably say, no, it's worse for us. It's hard to hit when it's cold, but no one likes playing when it's cold. It's the way it is, but they'll deal with it and figure it out.
Yeah. James, having that indoor facility, and it's been there a few years, but have you noticed a difference in the program, and what does that provide your team as far as that option to get work in when the weather isn't good, like we saw a few weeks ago, and it was below zero at times overnight, and you had sleet and snow and ice on the ground? But what difference does that indoor facility make for a program like Arkansas?
I think you're light years ahead because you can do real practice. You have the space. A lot of places just have like a batting cage or just have a place to throw maybe a bullpen. But when you can do actual team defense and you can do live at bats, live pitching, live whatever you need to do, you're really light years ahead. And we see that with the northern schools. They come down. It's so cold up there, and they don't have indoor facilities. They just legitimately haven't practiced all spring. And so a lot of the southern schools are way ahead. Well, now I think Arkansas has a huge advantage because they can not only practice, but they can do real practice because they have essentially a whole field.
Yeah. James Teague with us on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. James, they get the 4 games with James Madison coming up, and then it's down to Globe Life for Oregon State, Oklahoma State, and Michigan. What do you need to see in these first, hopefully, 4 games? Hopefully the weather doesn't take any of those away to be ready for it's going to be a star-studded lineup in Arlington.
Yeah, I think it's more about just, kind of getting rid of some of those nerves, letting guys get into the game. I don't think it really matters so much as to who performs or hits this or that and the other. I think you obviously need to win these games, but it's more about, all right, it's over. We get the first ones out of the way. Everyone, you can stop being so nervous now. Let's get down and play, some of our best baseball going forward, especially, like you named some of those teams in some legit competition.
James is going to be with the guys on halftime every Friday at 12:15 during baseball season. And James, I listened to you talking with Phil, Matt, and Christian about the pitching staff, particularly Hagen Smith, who we know is probably going to be a first-round draft pick. From what you've seen from him in his freshman and sophomore seasons, apparently his velocity up, as is his spin rate. What are you expecting from Hagen specifically this year?
I like to see Hagen find a way to go deep into games. I think that's one of the ways that he is the final pieces of maturing. I think the stuff kind of is what it is. The stuff is going to get better. It's going to be, not as good some days, but everyone knows that he's got amazing stuff. I'd like to see him find ways to throw strikes consistently, get deep into games, and to give, on that Friday night start, give our bullpen a break to where he can go deep, and then Saturday and Sunday, that's when our bullpen can come to shine because no one questions the stuff. No one questions that he's an unbelievable talent. I just like to see him put it together for multiple innings each start and have that consistency throughout the season.
James, you got some great home series this year with SEC opponents, and I know people are excited about this weekend, but also conference season as well. When you look at the SEC West, the fact that the last 3 years an SEC West opponent has won the national championship, I mean, how difficult is it to not just navigate through the conference play, but get through postseason when you're probably going to have to play 1, 2, maybe even 3 conference opponents to get to the College World Series title?
Yeah, I mean, there's no give. You play a series and you're like, all right, we got through that one. Then it's the next one, and then it's the next one. It doesn't give up. But I think once you get through the gauntlet of SEC play and then you get into the postseason, you're prepared to play just about anybody. Whoever you face in a regional, you're prepared to play them. And if you face those teams again in the postseason from the SEC West, well, you've already seen them before. You kind of know what to expect. So, I think it just prepares guys to be successful in the postseason. But there's no doubt it is a gauntlet and it is a grind.
Yeah. Put into words what the loss of Peyton Stovall early in the year is going to mean for this team. He suffered an injury, will be out at the outset of the season. What does this mean, and what's the opportunity for some of the other players on the roster to earn the trust of Dave Van Horn?
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. The lineup's going to change throughout the year. There's going to be give and take. If you look at the start of the season, the end of the season, it never looks the same. So I think guys are going to get opportunities, and maybe the guys that get opportunities really succeed, and we find a spot for them somewhere else in the lineup when Stovall comes back. So, I think it's just part of the ebb and the flow of how the roster changes, and I know Van Horn will, do what he needs to do to put the right pieces in place to be successful when the time comes.
When you look at Brady Tager, the righty for Arkansas this year, I think, when people talk pitching, he's one of the first names that come up. What kind of season are you expecting, and what do you think we'll see from him in the initial first 4 games?
Very similar to Brady Tager. I'd like to see him go deeper into games as a starter. I'd really like to see him just command the fastball. Everyone talks about the big breaking ball and the stuff. He's obviously got a lot of high power stuff to bring to the table, but I think he just needs to settle in. Whether he does it the first week, second week, or third week doesn't really concern me. But I think I just like to see him progress and get better and really throw strikes, go deep into games, because that's really going to ultimately give us the best chance to win over the course of the season.
All right, James, last thing. You're going to have to get that arm loose for this Saturday as you're throwing out the opening pitch. Are you nervous for Saturday?
I was joking with my wife about this. I said, I would truly be a has-been if I was nervous about the first pitch, but I also have to admit I haven't thrown a baseball in about 10 years. I said, look, if George Bush can do it after 9/11, that's real nerves. I can handle a little thing on Saturday.
Yeah, that's
joking about it.
Little more difficult circumstances that old George Bush was dealing with back in Yankee Stadium in 2001.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.